Welcome to episode 46 of the Berg Boys. Hopefully you're tuning in and get a chance to just relax after this crazy weekend of Wisconsin sports with what happened yesterday with our Badgers and then the Packer game that just got over. So
Yeah.
tune in. Hopefully you just get to relax now and kind of just take some breaths and enjoy for dudes just talking Reedsburg a little bit here. So first we'll start with weekends. Jay Green, what happened this last weekend?
Hey, what's up, fellas? First of all, really excited for a guest today. I got a couple of questions that I'm legitimately interested in terms of his side career. But otherwise, my weekend, boys, Friday night, RWD and Sauk. It was a showdown. It was a great game. There's certain things I could say that I'm not going to, but just happy that we got, a pretty big win. Haven't beat them in like 4 years or something like that. And they've had our number, so it just feels good to kind of get that one. Other than that, let's see. Yesterday, worked a little bit. Had some did some learn to skate. Went to Madison, got some shopping done. Had some sushi.
Sushi?
You guys like sushi?
Nope. Hard pass.
No,
That's okay.
Hard pass.
Have you tried sushi?
Yes.
Have though. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Well, yeah. Today I did absolutely nothing. So that was my weekend.
Nice. How about you, Maddie?
Yeah, not too much here. It was kind of, I'm sure people in Reedsburg know about this too. A big storm rolled through here. I think that was Thursday night? I think that was Thursday night. And kind of actually ripped off a piece of our siding, which at about 12:30 at night ripped off, and it was super loud. Ran outside, picked up our gutter spouts and that piece, threw it in the garage quick. So this weekend, Saturday was pretty much breaking down sticks, tossing them in a bin, which was about an hour. And the crappy thing about that is literally, so our waste disposal place closes December 1st.
Ooh.
And so we're like, oh, we'll just put them all in a bin. We'll take them next spring. Well, literally after we got done, just cracking all these sticks, breaking them down, putting in these bins, get inside, shower up, go on Facebook, and they're doing a special pickup going around. And I was like, you got to be kidding me.
So what'd you do?
So, I mean, nothing. We were like, well, yeah.
Way she goes.
Yeah. And I was like, I'm not going to pour out these bins of sticks this big, so they have to just.
Well, what about if it's a somewhat nice winter night, going out and having a little campfire?
That's true. That could very well happen.
See?
So did that, and then went over to my Uncle Jay's.
Your uncle?
Yeah.
Now he is.
Now. And,
Shut up, Dick.
Yeah, and
he's all of our uncles.
And Jay, we love you too. So
Yeah.
I didn't say that last night, but I'm gonna go on the record and say it. We love you too, Jay.
Yes, we do.
And we watched the women's volleyball game, which we'll talk about, obviously. And then today we got did a couple house projects here. Just kind of
Handyman Matt.
Just kind of cleaning it up to get actually go home for Christmas down to Reedsburg, but. My great aunt Kathy, my aunt Diane, and my mom are actually coming up tomorrow night to see our house. So we figured we might as well do a little cleaning and then watch football. That's about it.
There you go. How about you, Mike? I know you had a busy weekend.
Yeah, it was a good weekend. Recruiting weekend. I was in St. Cloud, Minnesota on Friday. Drove through some awful weather. Didn't get back till about 2 a.m. And then was actually in Spooner doing some recruiting last night, and I saw a guest of our show, Matt Valley, in the Cam River Fighting Walleye play. Also had a recruit on campus yesterday. And then today we actually our family, Annette, Henry, and Hadley and I did our Christmas. So Santa came early to our house. So we did that this morning. And then I actually our whole coaching staff went to Seamus, and we brought another guy on. His name's Joe Belanger this year. He's an alum of Northland as well. Really good guy. We all three of us went to Cloquet, Minnesota today. So to watch another game. So good weekend, busy, but that's usually how it is.
It's good to hear. Must have been some good recruits if the whole staff went to that one.
Yeah.
Huh? Sending that party.
No, so with like COVID and stuff, like when I first started recruiting, like Seamus, the first couple years, he kind of like I went with him like everywhere just to like kind of know what to say to kids and stuff like that, or like how to like sell our program in school here at Northland. And then obviously like with COVID and stuff, we haven't really gone together at all. So it was a lot of fun just to like obviously ride with somebody, because like to be really honest with you, like you get a little bored sometimes, like but when you're by yourself and it's just you watching a hockey game, it gets a little boring. So it was a lot of fun today.
That's good. That's good. Good to hear. My weekend was pretty relaxing. My semester for out here in Colorado, we do true first and second semesters where we end at Christmas. Our semester doesn't overlap like I know a lot of the Wisconsin schools do. So our last day and last final was the 16th, this last Thursday. And that was also our football banquet. So I officially wrapped up school and football on Thursday. So just kind of enjoyed the day on Friday. I actually went to the gym for about 4 hours because I did the old man sauna for a long time, did a workout. Then I went to the steam room. Then I went into the pool. Then I went in the hot tub. I just had kind of like a little spa day. But it was good. And then yesterday, did some house projects, got a lot of stuff done that I've been wanting to get done. And then we saw the new Spider-Man movie. Little Cash Money wanted to see that. So somehow we got tickets because I was looking around and the places are sold out because people are talking a lot about it. And I'll say it. I'm not going to spoil nothing for those of you that haven't seen it, but it's the best Spider-Man I've seen.
Nice.
It was really good. Got out of that game, had a nice little FaceTime conversation with Maddie to find out the news about the Badgers. So that was exciting. And then today we actually went to our church, had a Sounds of Christmas. It was 2 hours of professionals singing and dancing Christmas songs and stuff. They had an intermission, but it was a little long for Cash Money, but they were super talented and it was super awesome what they were doing. And just the stuff you can do with technology too in the background was pretty sweet. But we did that and then just watched football the rest of the day. So that was my weekend. So without further ado, we had this guest planned for last week, but unfortunately, I know I listened to your guys' episode last week. It was not a bridge that was out; it was a tunnel that was out.
Yeah, we messed that up.
Yeah,
Jeremy was telling people like you were in a car accident and stuff too. So I had to reassure, like, hey, Chris is fine. He's just stuck in traffic.
Look at those pearly whites. He's good.
So basically, what happened is to get to Vail and to get into the mountains, you have to take Interstate 70. Well, at one point, there's a tunnel that literally goes through the mountain, and it's huge. It's called the Eisenhower Tunnel. And it was closed early in the day for electrical issues. And the only thing I can think of is this tunnel so long that if the lights went out inside that tunnel, it'd be a big time, safety issue, right? So they closed it for that. Well, then we looked before we left. We pulled up Google Maps. We pulled up Apple Maps. We pulled up Waze. All these, everything said we're good. So we start driving. We get to Silverthorne, which is like right at the bottom of the, basically in a valley. Then it goes up to Eisenhower Tunnel. Standstill traffic. It took us 3 hours to go 5 miles. But then people were bypassing Eisenhower on this Highway 6, which is like a 2-lane road with no guardrail that basically wraps around the mountains. Like in the wintertime, no thanks, hard pass.
No.
Well, a bunch of people did that. Well, that Highway 6 meets up with Interstate 70 just past the tunnel. So we waited in this traffic all the way up the tunnel.
Oh, my God.
We get through the tunnel, and then as soon as we get down to the other side, 6 is meeting up, so it just added more traffic, and it took us 7 hours to take a normal 2-hour trip. So viewers, that's why it was not a bridge. It was not a car accident. We're all good. Our morale was shot a little bit being in the car with a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old puppy, and a hangry wife. That didn't go over too well, but I survived. So, but without further ado, our guest that we had planned for last week, my brother, Erik Rosholt. We're going to bring him in here.
Yes.
There he is.
Hello there.
I love it. I love it. All right. Well, this is Erik Rosholt, as I mentioned, my brother, 10 years older than me. Doesn't look it, but he is. So, Erik, tell us a little bit about you.
Well, born in Reedsburg. I guess we could start there. I don't really want to tell any stories from before that time, but yeah, grew up in Reedsburg. Went to all the Reedsburg schools. Graduated in 1996 from Webb High School. Played football, hockey, and track in high school. I know, after getting third place in 8th grade golf tournament, I gave all that up and ran track. These are the sacrifices you make along the way. But yeah, after that, went on to Luther College, gave football a shot there, played for 2.5 seasons before injuries kind of forced me out of that business. But I don't know, what else you want to know?
No, that's good. I mean, I know, obviously I know about you, but I just wanted our viewers to know a little bit. It's a couple things. I know Jay Green and Mike, I think, brought this up in our group text, but when you played hockey, was it just midgets for Reedsburg?
Yeah, we played under Waha at that point, although for my last 2 years of school, we were a letter sport, but not yet in the WIA.
And was Mike Welch the coach?
Yes, he was.
Okay.
So when was Racka built then, Chris? I know.
When was Racka built?
Yeah, was that way before?
The roof went up when I was in middle school, and then we put coils in. I can't remember if it was after my freshman year. We had a terrible winter where they couldn't freeze ice. I think we got 2 practices in that whole winter, and the coils went in the year after that.
Was there walls on Racka at that point?
There were half walls. It started out from the roof down. There was a half wall, and then there were tarps all the way around.
Oh,
and
I
we
did
got
remember
changed.
that.
I think I remember that.
Yeah.
Skinner transfer trailer at that point. And then eventually they put up plywood locker rooms and plywood
I remember
walls.
those.
Yep.
And those would still come down in the summer.
Yep.
I'm not sure when the permanent walls came in.
And those were in all 4 corners, I think, weren't they? Those plywood lockers?
They were in the 2 front corners. They had 2 in each corner. There was no roof. So
yep, I
if
do
Mike
remember
would
that.
come back during, the inter period time and lace into us, everybody's right there.
That's
awesome. Everybody in the stands knew what we had done wrong at that point too. So
that's awesome.
It's so weird. I can smell it. Can you guys smell it?
Smell what?
The plywood. Just entering the rink.
No, yeah. Racka has a unique smell, I would say, than any other arena there is. Like, that's just my 2 cents. But like, Racka's got a different. It's not a bad smell. It's just
right.
It's just a different hockey rink smell, I guess.
Yeah. Well, all right. You mentioned playing football, and I know this, but just so you can fill in our viewers, but playing in college wasn't the end of your football playing career, was it?
No, it was not. About 10 years later, I got the incredible idea to try out for a semi-pro football team. and I ended up playing for two separate teams. I played in Fond du Lac for a couple of years with mixed success. But then after that, I caught on with a team called the Madison Mustangs. And in the 4 years I played with them, we won 3 league titles.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, and so why? I mean, did you just get the itch to want to be competitive again, or?
You could probably call it a quarter life crisis. You get to this point where I don't know, you just feel like, well, let's see if I can still do this, and kind of kick the tires on it, and it like showing up as a 29-year-old who hadn't played in 8 years. I was still able to run a sub 540 and bench press 225 19 times. So I felt like maybe there was something there. I got to play linebacker again, which was a great opportunity and a lot of fun to get back into, since I hadn't done that since high school. But yeah, it was really just I hate to say it because a lot of people feel this way about a lot of different things, but you watch these sports and you're like, well, I could do that. And that was kind of my attitude coming into it. I'm like, well, I think I could still do this. And even if I can't, it's got to be a good story somewhere down the road.
But you did
absolutely.
it.
Yeah, exactly.
He did it too.
Yep.
Yeah.
And one cool thing, and I don't know if you guys know this, Jay Green, Matt, and Mike, but one unique thing about the Mustangs is, so the Mustangs, for people in Reedsburg, if you don't know, I would say it's pretty, like the leagues are pretty equivalent to home talent. So you're gonna get like very, very talented, fresh out of high school, fresh out of college football players playing for the Mustangs. Like there's a couple ex-Badgers on the team. There's some talent. Like there was some really good talent.
Yeah.
But then you're gonna get the 55-year-old beer belly dad that's going out there and playing guard. And so you get a little bit of a mix, but it was very competitive. But the unique thing about it was I actually got to play with Erik, and so being 10 years apart, we never truly got to play any sports together, other than I think maybe we got a slow pitch softball game in once or twice. But so for us to be able to play Mustangs together, now I didn't get to play for very long. It was only a couple games one season, but that's all I needed just to experience that time of playing with my brother. So that was pretty cool that semi-pro football created that avenue for us to be able to do that. So
what position were you, Chris?
I was playing. So Adam Smith, do you guys remember that name by chance?
Yeah.
So he was the offensive coordinator in Reedsburg for high school when I was a sophomore. He was the head coach for the Mustangs. And so I went to their Mustangs tryouts, and I did all the testing and the running. And this was fresh off my tryout with the Packers. So I was obviously in pretty good shape. And so he wanted me to play tight end and D end, as well as kick and punt. But because I wasn't able to make a bunch of practices and I came in kind of late, I didn't get a full grasp of the playbooks or anything. So I didn't really play a whole lot in those couple games. I did do the kicking, and I didn't do the punting because he actually did a different style of punting, which is pretty funny that, I had a tryout with the Packers, but couldn't punt for the Mustangs. But that's a side point. But yeah, I played a little D end. I played with Brooke Grosskreutz, who's now Brooke Kraus. Her husband was on that Mustangs team, so I got to meet him. Dave, he played defensive end. But yeah, it was different. It was fun to, like Erik said, he hadn't played linebacker since high school, but then was able to play linebacker there. So it was fun to be able to go back and play a little D end, run some routes, catch some passes. And
how were the fans at those? How were the fans? Was there a decent amount?
At Middleton, so the Mustangs played out of Middleton High School.
Yeah.
So that nice turf field, and at the Middleton games, like the home games, there's actually a really good turnout, and they had they were selling apparel, concessions. They had little footballs they would throw away. They would even have, I think they had cheerleaders too, didn't they?
Yes, there were cheerleaders there, and I think they approached it a little differently than a lot of the other teams. It was more of a Madison Mallards kind of atmosphere to it, where there were giveaways and contests and all of the kind of other paraphernalia that goes along with a football game. So.
Yeah, and I mean, each city had their own little vibe, but Middleton and the Mustangs definitely, they were the best of the best with with that. So, but yeah, it was pretty sweet. But I know this isn't on the questions, but I just wanted, because I don't know if the Berg boys know this, but what positions did you play in high school and why for football? Because I think this is kind of interesting story.
Yeah, in high school, I played linebacker, but I also played center. And at the time I started playing center, I weighed about 125 pounds. But essentially what happened was, at that point in time, everybody's first year of contact football was their freshman year. And at the first practice, they're lining people up and, all right, they got the running backs out there, the quarterback, the wide receivers are all set. They're getting the tackles and guards set in, and they're like, oh, and we need a center. And I was still standing back, didn't have a place to go. So I hopped in there and played center.
And then you never gave up the position, huh?
I never gave it up. I graduated at a whopping 165 pounds, but managed a all-conference center award by my senior year.
Yeah, wow.
And you guys, I know you guys went, what was it, 9-0 your senior year? Yep. And then what'd you guys go your junior year? I don't remember.
We didn't make the playoffs my junior year. This was back in the day where you had to win conference or hope for an at-large bid as a second-place team. We got second my sophomore year and managed the playoffs that year, but we weren't in the hunt as juniors. We weren't even – I don't even think we were picked in the top 3 in conference my senior year, but I think we overachieved in that respect.
And you had Jerry Griffin, right? Was he the head coach?
Yes, he was. Hall of Fame coach Jerry Griffin.
And was Bayer on that staff?
That was Bayer's first year.
Okay.
My senior year. He was essentially hired in to replace our dad.
Okay. Got it. So not only you did football, you did hockey, and you did track. Then you played football after college. Is there another activity that you may or may not have picked up after the Mustangs? I know this is what Jay Green's looking forward to hearing about.
Yes, I am.
But I know, and people that follow you on Facebook see the pictures, and I've actually gotten to go to, I think, 3 different matches now, and it's awesome. I love it. But tell our viewers here about your wrestling.
Oh, absolutely. So I guess that story kind of begins with the end of my semi-pro football career. Once I was done with that, I kind of savored that moment for another 5-6 years. And once I started approaching 40, I got that itch again and decided to try something stupid and new and kind of backed into this opportunity in a way, because at that point in time, I was the head football coach here in the Dells, and I had been talking with an organization, ACW Wisconsin, which is run by a former WWE wrestler, Swoggle, and Nick Colucci. And I was talking to them about having a fundraiser show for the football team, and went up to meet with them. It happened to be on the same night as their wrestling camp, their training camp, and which was just 2 or 3 weeks in at that point. And I had questions about what all that was about as well. And so when our meeting was done and camp was kicking off, Swoggle turns to me and says, "You still think you want to do this?" And my answer was, "Well, yeah." And ran out to the car, grabbed a pair of shorts and some sneakers, and changed in the scariest bathroom I've ever seen in my life. and got out there, and 45 minutes later, Swoggle's demonstrating a headlock on me. And at that point in time, the whole reality of what was going on kind of sunk in with me, because it's like, I don't know where I saw myself when I woke up this morning, but I don't know if it was right here. But it was weird and great all at the same time. And he's like, "Well, you can come back next week." And a lot like the football tryout, I fully considered the fact that I might do this and they might laugh me out of the building, or I might do this and they'll be like, "Okay, that's enough. Just go home," But he asked me back, and I said, "Well, it's going to be a conversation I have to have with my wife." And if you hear her tell it, the conversation wasn't really me asking. It was just like, "So I got to go back next week."
This is just like it's. I think it's just so cool on so many levels. I think, one, you think about the semi-pro football, and then you think about the wrestling, and it's like, not being satisfied with what you've accomplished, right? Or some sort of sense down that avenue, and it's just a good message just to keep following, what you want to do in your life, and it's just awesome. I'm guessing your little get up, Erik, is a part of your wrestling attire.
Well, in a way, I kind of went off script a little bit here, but yeah, my new persona, if you will, is the local dude, which is sort of a riff off of the Big Lebowski.
Okay.
And so I'll come in wearing the robe with the Zubas, the big sunglasses, and the last couple of matches I've carried a white Russian into the ring.
The fans get a kick out of that one.
In the first match, I actually wrestled with it for the first 2 minutes.
Oh my God.
as well. Doing everything I could to keep from spilling it.
No,
So
hold real quick, Jay Green. No, you mentioned camp, but I can't remember. So what he's talking about is in order to do this wrestling, you have to get trained in it.
okay, so that was my question.
Yeah, but the one thing I couldn't remember is how many weeks was it?
It was just about a year before I had my first match. So it was a weekly camp. You get together for about 2 to 3 hours on a Thursday night. So I'd drive up to Oshkosh, I'd work out, drive home. And I started in March. I think it was March, and my first match was in February of the next year.
Yeah, so it's pretty wild, because you gotta, the stuff, like when I go there, it's amazing, because everything that they do is obviously, I don't want to say choreographed because some of it's off script, but you have to learn how to fall. You have to learn how to hit. You have to learn you have to learn everything. And it's something as simple as, those kicks, to get that loud kicking sound. There's a trick to doing that, so literally every move, bouncing off the ropes, everything has to be practiced. But then not only does that have to be practiced for you, but now you have to work in sync with someone else who's also having to do all that stuff the right way too. And it's it's pretty neat to be able to hear, Erik talk about it and then to see it. What was your first persona was the local dad though, right?
Yeah, local dad. And the whole idea behind that one was that I was a dad in the audience who had gone to get popcorn for his kids and got lost on his way back to his seat. And in the course of searching for my kids, run afoul of some of the bad guys in the ring and am forced to defend myself, which is a tough message to get across, to the audience at times when they don't know what's going on, and not all of them can hear you. So yeah, there's a lot of pantomime involved, but I was just trying to find my kids, and this guy was being less than helpful. Eventually, trying to strike me for unknown reasons, and the last straw was really when he knocked the kid's popcorn on the ground. I mean, I'm a live and let live kind of guy, turn the other cheek, but that's my kid's popcorn, right? And that sort of aggression just will not stand.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Man. And then you went to a tag team duo, right?
Yeah.
And what was your guys' name there? I forget.
So we were the Dark Hour.
That's right. That's right.
That was coincidentally a dark moment in my wrestling career, because I had turned to the bad side. I had become that which I had most despised and had to wrestle as a heel. But ironically, also my most successful stint in wrestling, we won the tag titles as heels and carried it for about 3 months.
Nice. Yeah, my Little Cash Money got to hold the belt, so that was pretty sweet.
Yeah, that's cool.
And now he's the local dude, and it's awesome. I got to see him. Was that 3 weeks ago? 3 weeks ago now?
I think so. Yeah.
And if you're interested, I'm gonna throw a little plug in here. Your big what is it called? The Battle Bowl?
Yes.
That is in February, correct?
Yeah, I believe it's the first Sunday, or no, not the first Sunday, the 20th of February.
Okay, 20th of February, and it's in Appleton.
Yep, Appleton at the American Legion post up there. And the guys at this organization, now that's what I call wrestling, are keenly interested in bringing wrestling to the Butterfest this summer. So if any of you have connections there,
man, that would be just unreal.
I think. Well, hold on here. Let's use the Berg Boys connection.
Yeah.
Did we not have the mayor on here?
We did.
Yeah, we did.
Let's give him a call, and we'll talk to Mayor Dave, and we'll see if we can get the hookup, because that would be awesome.
That would be awesome.
There'd be a crowd there too, I bet.
There'd be a huge crowd there.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Oh. Jay Green, did you have any other questions?
Well, I got a bunch of questions, and I know
go for it.
I know we've concentrated on just a few things here, but Stone Cold versus The Rock, Erik. One match to win it all. Who do you got and why?
I don't think you can bet against Stone Cold.
Get a little.
That's the one guy that's just gonna find a way to win.
He does, yeah, and he's got gosh. But the thing with The Rock is he's got a decent following himself. He's got some fans that really carry him. He's a little.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I love both the wrestlers. They're both tremendous athletes. They're both tremendous performers. They can talk like nobody else. You'd love to see either one of those guys win that match.
Yeah.
But
it'll be a long match, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. At the end of the day, the idea of Austin climbing that turnbuckle in the corner and calling for those Steve Weisers. I mean, you gotta want to see that.
Yeah,
For sure.
Okay.
True that.
All right, I'll go to the activity then we had for you guys. And as you guys may have guessed, I gave Debbie a call and had a conversation with her.
How does it feel now?
Yeah.
Not good. Not good.
And so we got some questions here, and I asked her first of all the questions about you guys, and I asked, well, who's the best cook? And who do you think she would have said? Eric, Chris?
I can't imagine she would have picked Chris unless it was going to be macaroni and cheese or frozen pizza.
Okay.
I'm going to Eric on that one 100%.
And it's funny that Eric says that because that is verbatim her quote. That is what she said. Unless it's mac and cheese or frozen pizza.
Oh my God.
He has a wheelhouse. Don't get me wrong.
That's true.
Who do you think she said was the smartest?
Eric.
Yep.
I plead the fifth on that one. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings.
Well,
let's just let the stats talk. Okay, he was valedictorian. I was not.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure he got like a 35 out of 36 on the ACT. I did not.
Holy crap, he did.
Eric can be vacuuming the living room and answer every single question on Jeopardy without even paying attention. I cannot. So it's pretty obvious who the winner of that one is.
Okay. I asked who was the most athletic throughout high school.
Ooh.
So what do you think she said on this?
In high school, that one's close. I'd probably say me, but that one's close.
I think if you're looking at, like you said, if you're looking at a resume, you definitely had more accolades than I did in high school for sure.
So she was split on it. Is what she said. Who does she love the most?
Oh,
she'll say both.
Oh, we know that's Chris.
She said Gretchen.
She said Gretchen. That's
Okay.
awesome. That's awesome.
Who is Debbie's favorite football player?
Is it Reggie White?
I would say it's Reggie White or Jerry Kramer.
Yeah, I think it's got to be one of those
Are,
two.
are we talking professional football player, right?
Yeah.
I'm going Reggie.
I would say it'd have to be.
Yeah, she said Brett Favre.
Ooh. Proud of you, Mom.
Oh, she forgave him for that whole stint with Minnesota. That's really big of her.
Last little note from Debbie here. Not a lot of people know this, but Eric was once a stand-in for Aaron Rodgers in a commercial. You want to describe that, Eric?
Yeah. When they went to the Super Bowl, was that 2010?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, when they went to the Super Bowl, all of the local stations could cover Super Bowl week, but they couldn't call it Super Bowl, nor could they use any licensing from the NFL. It was this weird sort of gray area. So they wanted to advertise their coverage because they had people down there for the Super Bowl, and reporters there giving like the daily updates leading up to it. It's a big deal, the Packers and the Super Bowl. And so I went down to WKOW in Madison, put on a Aaron Rodgers jersey and Green Bay hat and held up a WKOW sign and every little bit, they'd have I'm giving the camera blue steel or whatever. Maybe it was Magnum or LT Gray. I don't recall, but I just mugged for the camera and they took a bunch of shots and then that got used in all their advertisement for
cool.
The title.
That is unreal.
There's not a lot of people who can say that.
When he has the same hair and facial hair, it's a striking resemblance. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what I got. I mean, that's appreciate you coming on, Erik. I mean, it's super cool. I mean, like I said, we didn't even get to touch about some other things, like
the fact that he's a full-time teacher with all this stuff,
like like his family, yeah, and just other interests.
I know you guys are busy guys. It took you 46 episodes to ask me to visit. Matt's had his older brother on since day one. Don't think that doesn't sting a little bit.
Yeah, no, that's great.
That's good. That's good.
I'd be happy to come back on. So I guess we'll see episode 92.
We'll bring you on before that.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on. We appreciate it. And I'll be seeing you in about 6 days, I think. So looking forward to the crazy Christmas at grandma's with all the cousins and nieces and nephews, and we get a full house, and it's mayhem, but it's awesome. We're looking forward to it. So thanks for coming on, and we'll see you soon.
See you, buddy.
Thanks, Erik.
Yeah. That was legendary, man.
I mean,
that was unbelievable. We have to get him back on 100%.
Oh, that was so funny.
Yeah, that's great, dude. And I really I got to commit to going to Appleton or Oshkosh, and just check that out.
We got to get that thing in
Butterfest. We have to get that to Butterfest.
Yeah. I'm telling you, it's worth it. It's worth it. I've been to 3 of them now, and the people that go to them, the wrestlers and stuff, it's a fun event, and I think at Butterfest it would be huge. I think you'd get a lot of people there.
There would be so many people there.
Yeah. That'd be sweet. So we'll see if we can pull some of our Berg Boys connections and make it work. But I knew you guys would be interested in some of that stuff. The wrestling thing is just the craziest though. Like it was almost every single week for an entire year, like going to train and learning how to do that. So, I mean, it's stuff like I've been watching wrestling on, like it used to be called WWF, when we grew up. But then, the World Wildlife Foundation got upset with that. So now it's WWE, but, and you see that all the time, but then to see it in person and to see the training, it's,
I mean, that's kind of, I couldn't find the words at the time, but it's like, man, you commit yourself to something like that.
Yeah.
And you can do it. Like if you want it bad enough, you can do it,
Yep. Well, the coolest thing is he did all of that while being an awesome husband and awesome dad and a great teacher still too, he's being a husband, he's being a brother, he's being a son, he's being a dad, he's got 3 kids. And I know we didn't touch on this, but his 3 kids are literally following in his footsteps, and it's sweet. His oldest daughter is a senior already, which is wild. And she's one of the most creative, artistic people I've ever met. She full on makes her clothes that she wears to school. And like if you looked at it, like if you looked at them, you would think she bought them like at it's unbelievable.
They're good kids, yeah.
And then her brother, or excuse me, her son, his son, this is brother Haken. He's the sports one. He's all into all the sports, and so you kind of get both sides of Erik. And then Thora is the youngest, and she's kind of doing both of them. She's super artistic, she likes to sing and dance, and she's super crazy smart, just like the other 2. And so it's cool to see them following, and Erik's wife owns Thompson's Floral, a greenhouse in the Dells. And she's crazy talented. So it's just fun to see his kids, like, following both of them, with the creativity, the artistic stuff. But, since we're, running a little short on time, we still got about 15 minutes here. Matt, you want to run us through some Badgers?
Yeah, I'll run it through it quick. Pretty short one today. Men's basketball, they won 71-68 Wednesday versus Nichols College. No Johnny Davis. He was out with an illness, non-COVID. Not a great game from the Badgers. They actually needed a pretty big comeback in the second half versus obviously a pretty bad Nichols team.
Yeah, they were down 15, I think, at one point.
I'm not even sure where that college is located. Next up, they got Thursday night at 6 versus Morgan State. So who knows from that. Men's hockey had off. Upcoming, they got that quick trip face-off tournament or type deal. They play Yale December 28th, and then they play the winner or loser of Bowling Green or Providence. Women's hockey still number one. They actually had off as well. They actually don't play until January 1st and 2nd versus Quinnipiac. And then the big one, women's volleyball. Thursday night, they beat number one Louisville 3-2. That was in the national semifinals.
That game was crazy too.
Yeah, obviously a big upset. Louisville was a good squad.
Not a big upset though, right, Chris?
Just an upset.
Just
not
an
a big
upset.
one.
Yeah.
If you make it that far, ain't it a big upset? It's just an upset.
That's true.
Okay.
Then the big one yesterday, they beat Nebraska 3-2 to become national champions. Dana Redkey, she was actually, which I didn't know this, I should have. She was a 5-time All-American. Obviously, is going to be probably the only one to accomplish that because of COVID.
That's why. Okay, I was trying to figure out how she was. Okay.
Yeah, and so, and I think she actually the night before was named Player of the Year this year.
Yep.
So first ever national title for the Badgers. Obviously, coming up so short these past couple years. Huge for Kelly Sheffield. I saw that he was hired, I think, in 2012. And I don't know how the program was before that, but so in the past 8 years, that is a crazy resume for that guy.
Well, and he's getting good recruits. We talked about that chick from Illinois that they're getting.
Yeah.
But I saw somebody, and I think it was Cassie Bondi, who's a teacher and a sports fanatic at Stoughton that I taught with. She went to River Valley High School. I think she might have posted it. Something about think of the talent of Wisconsin volleyball this year. Badgers Division I champs, University of Wisconsin Eau Claire Division III champs.
Yeah.
So like that's kind of cool to think about, that two colleges in the same state won
Reedsburg
national
Beavers
titles.
state qualifiers, baby.
Yeah. Trickling down.
So that's pretty sweet. But well, thanks for the Badger update.
Yep.
Packers. I was able. Well, it sounded like we were all pretty much able to watch it, minus Mike, who was coming back on the road from recruiting. But going into the game, I was nervous, and then once I found out about the secondary that the Ravens had out that were starters, I was like, okay, Rodgers is going to torch them. Then Lamar's not in, so I'm like, okay, that makes a huge difference. So I thought we were going to win handily, and it looked that way. I think, what was it, 31-17 at one point, and it looked like we had the game in hand. And then apparently not worrying about the quarterback running the football is not a concern in Green Bay.
Never has been.
Yeah. Because he wasn't going to beat us with his arm, I don't think. He made some good throws, but everything was, those little 5-yard
game.
They were like 5-yard hitches and slants, and he was okay, but our DNs just kept slanting inside or doing moves inside. We had no linebackers spying the quarterback, and so they ended up getting back in it. Special teams once again came back to haunt us. 3 penalties, I believe, on special teams. And then the one special teams unit that's good, our punt team, that punt at the end of the game there that we needed a good punt.
Yeah.
We get a delay of game, not a big deal. I think we lost like only 2 yards. But then there's a low snap on that punt. Did you see that?
Yeah.
And then the punter, I mean, it wasn't a shake by any means. It was still like a 35-yard punt, but for his standards, when he's normally hitting 50, 60 yarders, that could I'm worried, gentlemen, about playoffs if our special teams don't change.
We're not gonna win with that.
The biggest thing is at the end of the day, we still won. Still won the game. Still we're the Packers are now. We're NFC North champions. We won. We're technically the number 1 overall seed
in the NFL.
You got in the NFL.
That's good to put in perspective.
So you got to look at the positives. We got 3. So we got next week Cleveland, following week Minnesota, then we end with the Lions. So
the pesky Lions.
They won today too.
Yeah, they beat the Arizona Cardinals, which
couldn't believe that.
So I got a question for you guys. I think going into today's game, Rodgers was the second favorite to win the MVP behind Brady. So are those two the clear-cut favorites? One, Was number one. And two, would you throw Jonathan Taylor in that mix?
That's who I was going to say. I personally think it's a 3-man race, those three. I'm not saying JT's going to win it because unfortunately I think team success is the most important when looking at an MVP. And the Colts are winning right now, don't get me wrong. But if that somehow changes in the next couple games, I think he gets taken off of it. But I think he's in the consideration right now. I would still say, now granted, hold on here, I just saw the score. It's 6-0 Saints right now.
And Brady's not looking hot.
So without this game and Brady, I believe I read something. He's thrown a pick in like 4 of the last 5 games too. It was his early on. I think Rodgers is creeping into that conversation. I also honestly think JT should get considered for it too.
Well, I agree. I mimic all. I think. Is he? Jonathan's been just so much fun to watch. Obviously we have bias, but there's no denying the facts. I mean, he's been the best back all year. He stayed healthy. When a lot of backs haven't been able to do that this year, and that's got to. I mean, it's just pretty cool. So and they can still make the playoffs.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Here's a random question for you, because when was the last time a defensive player won the MVP?
Ooh.
Do we know this? Because I'm just thinking, because you're trying to think of, I was just trying to think of there's maybe.
I mean, usually it's a QB, right?
Yeah.
Maybe there's a defensive guy though that's tearing it up right now.
No,
so I think it's just kind of a weird year.
The only person that I think defensively would even be in consideration just because everything would be Diggs, because when you look at a defensive MVP, unfortunately, getting 150 tackles isn't really it's gonna be interceptions and it's gonna be sacks. And if you're a dude that's about to break an NFL record in one of those 2 categories, you'll probably get considered. But that's what I was thinking, Mike. I'm trying to think maybe the last person is
Dude, I got the list here. I don't even know.
I don't know.
It's got to be a while.
If I had to guess, it had to have been Reggie White or Lawrence.
What do you guys think?
I think it was a defensive end that had 20-some sacks. That's my.
It had to have been Lawrence Taylor or Reggie White.
One of those guys who
1986 from the New York Giants, Lawrence Taylor.
Oh,
yeah, that guy was crazy.
Yeah, he was nuts.
Hey, side note, is he the one in
Yes.
The Water Boy?
Yes.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Which leads me to my next point.
Don't do drugs.
Don't do drugs.
Don't do drugs.
Isn't he the one though too in Blindside where they show him destroying Theismann?
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think he's
the one.
injury.
Yeah, Lawrence Taylor's the one that breaks Theismann's leg. He comes on a blitz on the outside.
Oh, I hate that.
But that tells you though, if you ever watch that highlight, so Lawrence Taylor, dude, he was feared. That dude was an animal. He played angry. But if you watch that play, right away he stops. He doesn't celebrate anything. He stops and he's calling for all over. It just shows his character that it's more than just a game.
Okay, I'm not sure if this is right. In 1982, it says the MVP was kicker Mark Mosley from the Washington Redskins.
No way.
No.
This is on ProFootballReference.com.
I hope that's right. That's awesome. That's awesome.
That's
it's been a bad year for everybody.
Yeah.
Wasn't Walter Payton still around?
Yeah. So I know
he won the most valuable player in the strike shortened 1982 season.
Okay, so maybe he had a
I don't know. I hope he wore one of those square toe shoes. I hope so.
Oh man, I wish. Can you share your screen on this?
I don't know.
It is the square toe.
Is it?
It is. Yes.
That's awesome.
Just Google Mark Mosley MVP.
That's awesome.
Oh my God.
Good stuff. Well, I know this isn't on the list. We'll get to Reedsburg Sports here, Jay Green, real quick. I know this isn't on the list, but I know I wanted to bring it up because I personally, honestly, got some goosebumps, and I normally don't get that, but I saw a Instagram post from Ian Poulter, PGA golfer. And it was his son standing next to Charlie Woods, Tiger's son, because they had that father-son tournament this weekend. And it was a big deal. It was Tiger's first event back. And Ian's post was it was powerful. He just talked about seeing the passion for golf in these boys, and seeing the new generation that's going to take golf to the next level. And it was just a really heartfelt, passionate, powerful message. And it honestly gave me the goosebumps. So I just wanted to bring that up real quick, that it was awesome to see Tiger back, see his little mini me out there golfing with them. And then just to know that's happening with Ian Poulter and all these other golfers too, with their kids.
John Daly
Yep.
Jr.
Yep. And so it's just really neat to see. So I just wanted to bring that up quick. But Reedsburg sports update. I know Jay Green talked about RWD. I know they're kind of early on in the wrestling and basketball season, but I have noticed that the girls are kicking butt. This last game, it was like 90-27 was the final. Boys have gotten a couple wins. I saw they got a close win just this last week. They won by 1. So that's good news that they're working in that the new coach is having success right from the get-go. So that's good to hear. We're still going to work on getting him on here, even though this is a busy time for him. So we might have to wait until after season's done. And we got to get Simon back on here too. But
real quick, Rosh, sorry.
Yeah, go for it.
Mara Wyman. Does that girl's name mean anything to you guys?
Yeah, she's the one she's the all-time leading scorer now, right?
She is the best basketball player in Reedsburg history. And it's just like, hopefully that's an individual we can get on in the future too. Obviously she's got different concentrations right now, but how awesome is that? How cool is that? And then to hear, Katie Massey obviously embraced, that the records were meant to be broken, and what I hear you guys, working at the school now, I won't say, any teachers' names, but this group of girls, a couple things. One that I've noticed, they're just having so much fun. All these pictures that they have, they're smiling, they're really just living it up while they can. And that's one obviously important thing to any successful team, I think, is the chemistry, the camaraderie that they have. And two, a teacher had shared with me that they're just going to be missed around the school because of their presence, and how just good kids they are, and wanting to help other kids and help the school succeed in not just the sports facet of things. And so I just wanted to say that because I think it's really important and speaks a lot about them, So other than that, I don't have as much update. RWD, we go to Toma Tuesday, and then we got our holiday tournament after the holiday here. So, and that'll be at Poppy Waterman.
Yeah, I'm excited because I always get to go to those games.
Poppy Waterman. So, I just like saying Poppy Waterman.
So how I told you guys, and we'll end on this here. We'll talk about the Olympics. For you listeners, we'll talk about the Olympics next episode. Yeah. There's a lot of drama with that going down.
Well, real quick, NHL is not sending their players.
And more than just NHL.
It's gonna be a lot bigger, and it's gonna be a big mess. But how I told you guys, one of Debbie's questions was, who is smarter, right?
Yeah.
And who did I say, right?
Yeah.
And I said that he could be doing something else and just rattle off Jeopardy. Well, if you look in our comments here, before Mike said Lawrence Taylor, Erik Rosholt says Lawrence Taylor.
Oh my God, I'm just seeing that too now. Yeah,
I see. I told you, he can do that all day long. He can tell you anything about everything. The dude is
apparently he can be a contestant and host it because he's an Aaron Rodgers lookalike.
Yeah.
That's true. Very true.
Unbelievable.
Good point. All righty. Well, we appreciate you guys tuning in here. We really, really do appreciate it. We hope you all have a great holiday season.
Great holiday.
We're not sure when our next episode will be, because that'll be the day after Christmas. So we will not be on probably on Sunday. And we'll see. It'll probably more than likely, Well, then what? The next Sunday would be what, the second?
The first. It's going to be. It might be a while.
Yeah, so it might be a week or 2 weeks or so. But just follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Mike will want me to throw out TikTok, so I'm going to throw out following us on TikTok.
If you have TikTok, the one video I have, we have like 600 views, man.
The one video I have.
You did
a good job.
There's multiple videos, but the one, I think it's the one like introducing Erik as our guest. It's got like 600 views.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was a good one. I'll give you props. You're taking the technology piece of us and running with it.
You're good at it.
And we aren't, so we appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in, episode 46. We hope you have a great holiday season, and we look forward to catching up with you all after Christmas. So
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas, guys.
Merry Christmas.